Okay, so this is going to be a backtesting session of my strategy that I use to, you know, get five-figure payouts that's funded me multiple times across multiple firms. So we're just gonna get right into it. So usually what I do as soon as I step into the market, what I do is I start from the 4 hour. I look at where price is drawing towards. Do we have any liquidity points that we're drawing towards? Do we have any unfilled fair value gaps we're drawing towards? And then from there, I go into the lower time frames and then refine my entries or refine my draws on liquidity from there. So here you could see that ES is tapping into a 4 hour gap. Right, we are having some type of SMT here at the lows. NQ did not sweep that low. ES did sweep that low. So now I'm going to go on the 1 hour time frame to just see if I can find any type of confirmation price wants to go higher from this SMT. So from here, right, I need to see some type of displacement on the 5 minute or 15-minute time frame. I'm going to actually mark out this high right here because that is Asia high. So I'm going to now go into the 15-minute. I want to see some type of displacement form at 9:30. See if we can get it. Okay, so now we're going to get onto the 5 minute time frame. Wait for a 5 minute. So there was a 5 minute gap there, but we're going to wait for a 5 minute gap to open up. So there's the gap opened up there, but the thing is, let's see, do we have any SMTs here? Yes, we do. We have an SMT with this high at London. We have an SMT. But we do have a lot of stacked highs above. So this could still potentially play out here. I'd like to see some type of strong reaction out of this 5 minute gap. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see, is the 5 minute getting respected? No. Okay, so let's check the 15 minute. Is there any 15 minute gaps? No, which is fine. If this thing wants to go higher, we still have targets above, so you just wait for that. So we do have an SMT. If we start to displace down here, we could potentially take a short. But I'd ideally want to long this here. So we have a fair value gap here. I like to look for longs out of this towards these stacked highs above, right? See if price can essentially tap into it, which it does, and it edges it right there, which is all fine. Check the 15 minute time frame. See if we create a 15 minute gap here. Okay, no. Okay, so we did tap into this 5 minute gap here. I'd like to see some type of reaction here. Reaction, then a close above, so that looks pretty decent to me. I'm going to look to long this with my stop at the low, since we do have this hourly high still resting above. So we're gonna just go ahead and long this. Place order, market order. Okay, so I do like the reaction there. I actually will look to add into this position here with my stop at the low still. And then I'll look to add a half position there as well. So, okay, so that's pretty textbook for me. I like how we came back down into this CISD, and I had a nice reaction out of that, which kind of validated that we wanted to go higher. So I like that. I like the momentum that we had out of that, so it's pretty good. Going on to the next session here. Okay. Same exact thing. I'm looking to see if price has any type of SMTs, if we're displacing, if we're failing to displace higher off the SMTs, what could we target below? So I do see we have these lows that are resting here inside of this fair value gap on the 4 hour. And I also say these lows as well, but I do see that we have an SMT here. This same low right here just got swept by ES. So if we have some type of bullish reaction, we could start to target something higher if we have the proper reaction, which we have these highs resting above just like the previous example, as well as these highs. So if we start to displace here off that SMT, then it would be good to take for longs. If not, we have some type of reaction here, then we'll look to take shorts lower. Okay. Okay, so we have this fair value up here. I'd like to see some type of nice bearish displacement through this. Okay, so nothing yet. Okay, so this looks pretty good to me. Here we have we have a CISD. Check. We have an SMT here. Yep, we have an SMT here internally, which I like that, and then I like the reaction there. So I'm gonna look to short this. Take a 1-to-1, or I could just take it to this low here. Okay. Like I said, this can go lower, but I like to take 1-to-1s, 1-to-1.5s. And I'm actually going to look to add here in this fair value gap. So I'm going to look to add this just like that. Just like the previous example, I'm going to look to add a half position, short, and boom, just like that. Nice. Like I said, this can still go lower, but we're going to just go on to the next session because usually I'm just a one trade a day type of person. I think we're gonna backtest around like a week and a half of setups. So okay. So I'm looking at same thing as last session. If there's any SMT at the lows, okay, so it does look like there's an SMT here. On the lower time frame, and we are delivering from this gap, which I like. Now let's go to the 1 hour time frame and see. Okay, so price is delivering nicely off of this before New York session, which I like that as well. And we do also have a unfilled 4 hour gap right here, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the hourly time frame. I'm gonna go mark out this high and this high, right? So if we want to start displacing, that's perfectly fine. I can look for longs because I have targets above as well. I'm gonna just play this out. Go to the 5 minute. Okay. Wait for a 5 minute gap to open up. SMT here at the highs. I want to see if we can have some type of displacement to the downside, creating some type of 5 minute gap. Not really picking a direction quite yet. I need to see some type of breakout. So, I mean, this is my cutoff time, so I think we're going to just head to the next session. Yeah, super slow, super choppy. Not really getting any volume. Even though those draws on liquidity did get hit. So... Okay, so we have this high here we left. There's no SMT. Plus, we also have this high resting as well. I'd like to see some type of, you know, if I want to see higher, I want to see some type of displacement through this. Or since I'm actually pretty bullish here, I'd like to see this high get ran. So I look to actually long this. If we get a CISD to the upside. So, I mean, just like that, I look to long this. Just like that. So what I'll do is I'll market enter. And then I'll add a position if we get a nice reaction off of this, if we create a fair value gap. So, okay, so there's essentially going to be my break-even point. I don't really want to see this come back down to my entry. And bang, nice. So nice displacement. Higher time frame was super bullish. I still believe that those highs were going to get ran, so that's why I took uh, the longs essentially. And then this was my overall target, but since it was a little bit of a scuffed like close and the stop loss was pretty big, um, I did go break even as soon as this high got hit, just to reduce my risk. And since price is very volatile, I want to see this continue to go to the upside, which I still think this high is going to get hit if we start to displace. But like I said, I am done for this session. So we're going to go into the next one. So for this week, we're 3 for 3 already. It's Thursday. Don't need to even um, force anything on Friday. So let's check, see what Friday brings. And for those who are asking, essentially what my strategy is, so basically when we're drawing towards, like a liquidity point, like session highs, session lows, previous day highs, previous day lows, and we get actual displacement heading towards that drawn liquidity, if we get a 5-minute gap or 15-minute gap towards that drawn liquidity, typically what I wait for is the gap to get tapped. Then I use time frame alignment, which so the 15-minute aligns with the 1 minute, the 5-minute aligns with the 30-second, and the 1 minute time frame. So what I wait for is the CISD or some type of momentum displacement candle out of that fair value gap on the 5-minute, and then my entry is usually based off the 1 and the 30-second. So here, what we're going to do is look at price. So we're obviously still pretty bullish. All right, we're delivering from ES is delivering from this 4-hour gap here. I'm gonna scale down to the 1 hour just to see if I can get some type of clear picture on this. So we have this little intermediate high there that I like as a target. ES has not taken it out, so we have no SMT as of right now. Honestly, I'd like to see this have a pullback of some sort and then some type of push to the upside. So what I'll do right now is I'll wait for price to show some type of volume. Right. Unless this thing wants to just keep flushing. If we don't have no reaction inside of this 1 hour gap, then I'll look to take shorts lower, because we do have some nice liquidity points. I'll mark these out. So we have London lows here, and then we have Asia lows here, which I'll keep those marked out. So if we want to start displacing here and not have a reaction inside of this gap, then I'll be perfectly fine with taking shorts. Okay. So looks like we getting a CISD here on the 5-minute. So if I'm using time frame alignment, the 1 hour aligns with the 5-minute time frame. You can see here the 1 hour is tapping into the gap, and the 5-minute just got a change in the state of delivery. So now what I'm going to wait for is a gap to open up. See if we can get some type of, okay, so there's the gap opened up. It's a little gap. It's going to be lower probability, but since we are still bullish, we want to see some type of displacement. We resweep that low. No, we didn't, which is fine. Okay, so this could play out here. Nice 5-minute close as well. I'm actually going to take this. Nice 5-minute closure. But I'm going to take it with half risk just because we're up pretty nicely on the week already. I'm going to take it half risk. Execute buy. Okay. Now we're going to go break even at this high right here. Okay. And there's break even. Okay, so risk-free trade now. I can just let this do whatever. So break even. Obviously this can still rip up here. And break even saved this. Nice. So the reason why I went break even was if this internal high got swept and we're truly bullish, I mean, there's no reason for us to reject off this little high here. Plus, it was also an SMT here. ES did not take that high out, so overall, good little break even trade. Went for 4 for 4, 1 break even on the week on this week. So we're gonna go on to next week sessions. So this is obviously very bullish here. I like these highs. We're clearly drawing towards them. I want to see if we're tapping into like a 1 hour gap, which we are here. We're kind of holding it. I'd like to see some type of displacement here on the 5-minute time frame. I'm very bullish. I'm pretty confident these highs get taken on the higher time frame. So I'm going to just wait here. We do have an SMT with this high, but there's no real bearish displacement here quite yet. So I'm gonna play this out. So 5-minute change in the state here. I'd like to see a fair value gap open up. Okay, so same exact trade as last session. SMT here at the lows. I'm actually very confident in this SMT here. 5-minute change in the state after tapping into the 1 hour time frame. A nice 5-minute fair value gap. It is a little bit smaller, but those still play out. So I'd like to see a nice 5-minute flip here and a nice 5-minute closure with a 1 minute or 30-second change in the state. So if we don't get that, it's perfectly fine. Here. Okay, so the 5-minute did inverse. So I'm not really paying attention to that anymore. The 15-minute inverse as well. So everything's still lining up to be pretty bullish. So I'm gonna have to wait for a new gap to open up here. Okay, so honestly, it's just a range day. I think I'm just gonna call this a session here. We do have this gap, but I'm not really trying to force a short towards. Oh, never mind, no more gap. Let's see. Also, my time is up 11:10, so I'm gonna go to the next session here. There's nothing really. So this is how I avoid losing days. Is just I avoid chop. Okay, so there is an SMT here at the highs. I like that to be a target. I'm gonna mark this out as well. I'd like this to be a target. I'd like to see ES's gap get held above this high, so it could be an important gap, and then we can use that to bounce off on the 4-hour time frame. Let's go to the 1 hour. Okay, so we are in a 1 hour gap. I'd like to see a 5-minute CISD here, and then look for a lower time frame entry. Okay, so it looks like the CISD is not going to happen here in the 1 hour. Let's look at the 15 minutes. Let's see what the 15-minute does here. Okay, so we do have a 15-minute change in the state, but we do also have a SMT here at the lows. Not really trusting this quite yet. If we start to displace here, check these hourly. We have an unfilled gap here, and we also have these relative equal lows. I'd like to see a breakaway gap right here form, and then okay, so I want to see if there's any targets below here that I can essentially target. Oh, we got this little 1 hour low. Check the 15-minute. We do have an SMT, which kind of worries me. I'm going to refine this actually to the 15-minute low right here. And then I'm also going to mark this out. This is a 5-minute gap. I'm playing the continuation short. I like to see a nice displacement candle close. It'd have to be super, super obvious for me to take this. Okay, we're still in this gap. 10:35. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take this short. This actually does look like the same exact trade I took on Friday. I'm gonna short this, look for the low here. And I do like the flip of the 5-minute candle. All right, flip of the 5-minute candle, new 5-minute. And break even there. Bang. Alright guys, so I'm gonna call this a day. I'll upload another video here soon. So, peace.